So, of course, everybody's favorite commentator, Colin Cowherd, said something once again absurd. And in this situation, actually has nothing to do with my Sooners, but he got Texas fans mad last week. And I mean mad over the weekend. They were pissed, and I was cracking up. So I kind of feel petty doing this, but at the same time, I like to have an intelligent football conversation around stuff. But this was funny, and I feel like everybody here would get a great laugh out of it just because everyone enjoys piling on Colin Cowherd. And in this situation, this is one of those moments where we can all pile on Colin Cowherd. So let's dive into it. Before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. All right, got to talk about one of our rivals, Texas Longhorns. As y'all know, you can see behind me, I'm a big OU fan, as well as Tennessee. Go Vols. But we're going to dive into how Colin Cowherd really pooped all over Texas fans and their draft pick. Y'all got to hear this for yourself. So we're going to go ahead and play it now, and I'm going to talk to y'all about why this dude is way off when it comes to this.
It is two of the best teams in the NFL, Kansas City and San Francisco, like really well-run teams, have both struggled to draft wide receivers. Why? Because drafting wide receivers is hard. Over the last 20 years, there have been more misses on wide receivers than any other position. 73% of first-round receivers miss. So why is the world guaranteeing me that Kansas City just won the Super Bowl because they took a 160-pound track guy at wide receiver? It is amazing to see the definitive opinion. Here's what I almost never have a definitive opinion on. A wide receiver in the first round. Calvin Johnson I did, and I do think Marvin Harrison is spectacular. But by and large, wide receiver, 73% last 20 years don't get a second contract. So the Chiefs traded up, Buffalo traded back, their rivals, and they got Xavier Worthy, who I think has bust potential. He's a 165-pound track guy that's not a polished route runner who drops passes. I think he's the second best receiver potentially in this draft from Texas. But because of Mahomes and Andy Reid, he'll probably work and at times be spectacular. He's a track guy at 165. So Buffalo traded back out of the first round. As a rule, I don't bag on teams generally that trade down. J-Mac and I talk about that. That's generally what I would do. Unless you can get a Caleb Williams or a Jaden Daniels or a great quarterback, trade back to accumulate more picks. The draft is a math equation. The more picks, the better. The Rams had 11 last year. They hit on 9. It was a great draft. Turned them around in 1 year. So Buffalo traded back out of the first round, which, by the way, from about the 20th pick to the 32nd pick is known as Death Valley by GMs. You're paying a first-round price for a second-round talent. So now they have 2 second-rounders and 4 fifth-rounders, 10 total picks. I wouldn't be surprised, they have the first pick today, if they move back again today a few spots and still get a wide receiver. Do not be surprised in 5 years if the second-round receivers picked today are better than the first-round receivers except for Harrison. This second round is going to have 7 to 8 receivers picked. They are spectacular. This is a great... Ricky Pearsall for San Francisco is not going to be as good as most of the receivers in the second round. I didn't love that pick.
So, yeah, you hear that. Colin Cowherd felt the need to really go ham on Xavier Worthy. And it's funny to me because why? Even though he played for the rival, I liked Xavier Worthy, right? I thought he was a really good wide receiver at the collegiate level, and he could have been opened up even more if he had better quarterback play. So, yes, very much shade thrown, but at the same time, it's true. If he had better quarterback play, dude would have been even more of a monster at the collegiate level. But last season, he finished out statistically, he had, 75 catches, 1,000 yards, only 5 touchdowns, which is bad. He had more touchdowns his first year at 12 than almost his last 2 years combined, which he finished with 14. So pretty crazy, right? His first year, he'd blow out, and then all of a sudden things just kind of, taper down. But as he plays more games, but I digress. Dude could ball, right? And so him going to the Kansas City Chiefs, to me, made sense because of what Andy Reid's going to do with him, right? Y'all know how Andy Reid's system has always worked when it came to fast wide receivers. You've seen the Tyreek Hills of the world. You've seen the Mecole Hardmans or whatnot. Andy's going to put this dude everywhere and just say, just go run really fast, and Patrick Mahomes is going to find you. Now, the key thing for Xavier Worthy to be successful in this situation, he's got to find a way to get wide open. and get to the pockets that are needed in order to be successful, right? Mahomes is going to throw it to you, but you got to be at a spot. You got to get yourself open in some situations because Mahomes does a fantastic job of finding a way to buy more time. And the beauty of it is because he's got so many Oklahoma Sooners on that offensive line, they're protecting the heck out of him. He's getting extra time, right? Now that they've upgraded, on the tackles positions as well as, on the inside, they're doing a really good job of making sure Patrick's staying upright. Also, giving him the opportunity to work the magic that he always does. And if Xavier Worthy can go out there, run good deep routes, as well as run good routes to keep himself open and not stop during the play, he'll be fine. So, heck, he gave us problems, right? He was a thorn in our side. There's nothing about him that says Xavier Worthy's an awful player. The only problem he really has is that he has a tendency to drop passes. Can't do that in Kansas City, which I don't think he will. I think he'll get better in that capacity. But against us, his freshman year, he had 9 catches for 261 yards and 2 touchdowns? Broke it on the first play of scrimmage? At that point, I was like, okay, he's the real deal. We've got to be prepared to play against him. The next time, 7 catches for, 119 yards, which, was an awful game for us. We won't talk about that one. Actually, no, correction. The second game against us, he had 3 catches, 29 yards, which, that was just an awful game for us in general. But last year, he did well. 8 catches for 108 yards, and they lost. 8 catches, 108 yards. He was all over the place. He was one of those players you had to account for because he's just that talented. And so Cowherd dumping on him because he's 5'11", 160 pounds is kind of wild. The dude ran a 4.21 40. Like I said, I give props where props are due, especially talking in a football conversation. I like to be genuine with this stuff. I think Xavier Worthy's going to be fine in the NFL. As long as he catches the ball, minimizes his drops, and goes out there and does what Casey needs, dog, he has a great chance of being something special for them, right? He has a great chance of filling the hole that Tyreek Hill left when he bounced. And the funny thing is, KC still won without Hill. They figured it out. Like the Super Bowl they lost to my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Shout out to the GOAT Tom Brady because I really needed that in my life. Shut up a lot of people from talking bad about me because I got one in 2020. But that Super Bowl they lost was because their offensive line was in shambles, right? The interior was doing their job, but the tackles were getting destroyed. That happens, right? So for them now having a burner, someone that they can just launch the ball up. Harbin, we expected him to be a little bit better than what he is. I think he's fine, but he's not wide receiver 1 material. He's barely slot material at this point. He's just got to get better. I think he can. I don't know if he can get there. I think we may have seen the ceiling of him, but I think he's good enough. And Harmon, and Xavier Worthy can be that next piece that provides them with not only a person that can catch over the middle, but somebody can go deep. So I want to talk a little NFL on that. Hop in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. I know. Please go ahead and hate. Oh, man. Hate. You can yell out, hey, man, you corny, because I did want to talk about that because I thought it was funny how Texas fans were losing their mind. Social media, they were going bananas. All the people I know, Nino's Corner, my boy, he was mad. I normally don't do this, but I'm going to talk about it. He talked about it. He was mad. He ain't going to see this video, so I ain't too concerned about it, but I want to talk about that. All right, we have some other good videos on here. Check out talking about how well we've done in the draft as a team, as a unit. Check out that video. Got that listed on here. And, got a lot more stuff coming down the line, so we'll talk soon. Peace.